Hi, it's Joel here from Mindless Brain, and I'm the creator of Mindless Creator. And so I'm just going to show you one other thing you can do. We're going to make a brick material, um, very simple brick material, but I'll just show you how to do it, and then you can play around with it. So I won't use this in the future. Will be a bunch of preset brick materials, but it's not quite there yet. So we'll start with this. We'll take off that tiled noise map. We'll start with the tiled shapes list. And this doesn't do anything visually, but it creates a list of shapes that we will then use to create our bricks. And then we want to draw those shapes, so we have a draw shapes node. And they're the shapes. So I just took a little beat there to load the material to draw the shapes with. I'll improve that in the future. So it's currently set up with a basic brick pattern. I won't do that just yet. Let's see what we can do so you can see how many on the Y you've got there. Now, what you really want is an even number, because otherwise you get a doubling up of the bricks. The X, sorry, that's the Y, and maybe an extra brick there. Reduce the padding quite a bit, down to 10, let's say. Let's turn that up a bit. There we go. Now, so we've got our now we can draw there's a bunch of different layouts and things you can do, and you can do stuff to I'll show you the border, for example. You can bring the border of the bricks in or out. So we'll just have a little border there. And there's some things you can play around with about the layout. Now, most of these layouts don't work. Grid is the standard one. This random doesn't seem to work. Voronoi? That sort of works, yeah. Sort of produces a Voronoi. I don't know how to say that shape. But we'll ignore that for now. And you can also choose any shape you want. So that's the box, but you can also, say, draw ellipses, or you can draw, well, ellipses are polygons, circles and squares and triangles and rounded edge boxes, which is kind of fun. Oops, are you dozing? Oh, I've crashed it. Of course I have. That's too bad. Okay, just a sec. Okay, sorry about that. There's still some bugs here, and messing around with the different shapes sometimes will cause it to crash. Obviously I'll figure that out at some point, but there's a bunch of different shapes you can do. If you get too many things wrong, sometimes it crashes, but not always. But anyway, so the draw shapes so this is determining what the shapes are that we're drawing. So it produces a list of shapes. That list of shapes then is used by draw shapes to actually draw the shapes. And this draw shapes provides all the options for how you want to draw the shapes. So by default, it just mixes in a bunch of noise with the shapes. So there's a few different options there, but we've got defaulted to brick option. Now I'll just close these off. These are different noise layers that you can mix in together. Currently it's just got the one noise layer. So if you take it out, it just goes black, but so it doesn't really matter how much noise there is there at the moment. This will change in the future, but if we add this shape, it's the same scale. So let me just increase the scale a little bit, and you can see, so I can have 0 of this one in, or I can have it fully in, or I can just mix it with the other one. And this noise layer as well. Bring this one in, and let's do a higher resolution one, just to give us like a bit of almost like random dots over the surface, and we'll just mix that in with the rest of the stuff. So we're producing kind of a rough looking brick, I guess you could call it that. Now the Voronoi also has, like, it looks like this basically if you just have that. So I'm going to make some bigger ones of that. How do I do that? Density, I think, does that. So there we go. I'm just going to mix in a small amount of Rona to give it a bit of sharp angles inside the bricks. I don't know, a bit of variation there. And you've also, if I close up all these ones, you've also got Morley noise here, which you can add in. If I add in the, you can't really see it very well, unfortunately. Sure. But you can see it's in there as I move it around and change the scale. That's what Morley noise looks like, really. And I'm going to add more variations of Morley noise. But I think that's a bit too... Just adds lines. That could be cracks, I guess, or something like that in there. Give it a bit more, bit of variation in there. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of different things, but the color doesn't look that good, so we're going to change the gradient. Now, there's only really one way to change the gradient. I'll have more gradient editing things later on. Make a full gradient editor, but just made a very simple gradient editor. So this is some reference images I just got off from online. So I grabbed some bricks. I just drop it right in, or I click on this and upload it. And then all I do is I hold down the mouse and drag my mouse across, and it'll pull the gradient out of the image, and I'll apply it. It's sort of interesting. It's a bit sharp, I think. I can make a much more packed gradient. That's pretty crap. Don't like that at all. It's not terrible, but it's not that great either. I'm just gonna it's a bit wacky. it's okay. You can play around for hours just trying to find a reasonable. Now, unfortunately, there's not really any editing controls here, so in the future I'll have some editing controls that allow me to, brighten or darken the gradient, to sort it differently and do a few different things, but this is just the very initial one. Because this brick's very uneven, maybe I'll try a different brick. Let's just... Okay, sorry about that, I just got lost for a second there. Let's try this brick here, hey? And we'll clear that one and then just drag it across and go. Interesting brick. Now in the future you'll be able to use this as a mask and add different layers on top, but at the moment this just provides a reasonable base for the brick. So let's just leave that brick in place. Now we want some grout in there as well, don't we? Also wouldn't mind, I'm not sure if I can do this, but how does the normal map come up? Not that great really, is it? Normal map, no, normal map's not that good. The built-in normal map is not all that good. I've got a better one. We can add the same as before. I can add the normal map. You see that's come up with a much nicer normal map there. Look at that. That doesn't look too bad at all. That might. I wouldn't mind make it a bit stronger. Eh? That looks pretty interesting. Not too bad. Not too bad. But there's no grout, so let's add some grout in. To do that, I'll grab some tiled noise. I'll add that in, and I'll drag that to the top there. So now that tiled noise is filling in the grout, but it's a bit too solid. So let's make it more extreme variation. There we go. And then let's change the gradient to be. Let's grab that little through there. Bit more variation there. Now because that's white, unfortunately, it's going to be popping up. Can't really see it from there. Also, I might want to add a roughness map. Would be interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have any real good tools to do that, but I can just add another tiling noise map, add it on the bottom, and just make it kind of extreme. It's not. It's pretty uninteresting, I suppose. But actually, we can do this now. So I won't do a diffuse map. I'll click on the height. Now, is this height range working? No, it's not. Well, soon that height range will work, but at the moment it does not. So let's produce a roughness map instead of a height map. So that's our roughness map. That's not a great roughness map, to tell the truth, because it's a very wide-ranging roughness map. So you can see if I turn off the roughness, you'll see there's a difference in lighting there. But I don't think that roughness map's particularly good. But anyway, it's yeah, it's pretty okay brick tile, and if we want, we can do the tile cube, so you can see it tiles effectively. It doesn't have any seams or anything. It's a bit there's a bit of variation on those bricks. Now I will be adding a lot more stuff to add variation to the bricks, but and just generally. But that just gives you an example. You can play around with a lot of stuff, and it gives you an example of how to put together a basic brick material in less than probably about 12 minutes. Okay, thanks guys, bye.